You know, Tom's still got to win 4 frames from there, which is a lot. He's nowhere near the hill at 9-3.
Yeah, I completely agree, and you also get the opportunity to see turnarounds. You can get off to poor starts. I'm going to highlight that by, as we see a beautiful break from John Rowe. He really does. When you see him break like that, you think it is an absolute joy. You think, how does he not break clear every single time with a break like that? But just to highlight my point on the comebacks, Jamie Graham was 6-0 in front of Sean Chipperfield, and it's now 7-5. That's the final score of their session.
Yep.
And that's just, the match has completely changed. At 6-0 down in a race to 7, you're done. You're toast. And now it's 7-5. It's a different match.
Yeah, but it's difficult as well mentally, isn't it? Because for Jamie, knowing he was 6-0 up, he's going into that last session tonight as probably in his head second favourite, isn't he? Yeah. Whereas Chippy's going into it, even though he's 7-5 down, thinking, brilliant, you know, I've got away with one there.
Yeah, completely.
But the funny thing is, if you'd offered Jamie 7-5 before the match started, he'd have probably snapped your hand off.
Over the moon with it, absolutely. Of course, that is a former world champion and top professional against an amateur qualifier, although Jamie, very good player in his own right. That was a very surprising miss from John Rowe to start the match. He won't be thrilled with that. It's given Mike a great chance.
Yeah, and one of those chances that Mike probably would have sat in his chair, seen the break, and thought to himself, "Oh, never mind, I'm sort of 1-0 down here." But with John missing the ball, he did, and it just popping in front of that yellow. In Mike's head, he probably might be thinking, "Oh, this is a nice chance, and I've almost got sort of a half of a free swing at it." If he can get through to the red over the pocket, top left, that should be his next ball, and then play on the one in the middle for the one down the rail last. If he can't get through to that one and manage to get out, it might be a bit awkward. Not a surprise to see the cue ball come back further than Mike wanted, given the speed of his new cloth out there. Something I'm sure he'll get used to throughout the match, but for now, leaves him with a back double to try and judge, and it looks like he's got to sort of judge the cannon into the red on the rail as well. Now he's choosing to play the red down the rail first. He's played it really well. That'll be a good setter for him as well.
Yeah, sometimes a nice shot like that, just to really, you put yourself under pressure, but you deal with it. Really set you in nicely.
Also important early doors to punish John for the miss.
Yeah, absolutely. Playing great players, I always say that. Got to punish the mistakes. Don't let good players, don't let great players know they can get away with mistakes out there. Beautiful start for Mike Chappell, that really was. Very nice indeed. Yeah. And you get to watch that for a longer period of time. And you give a player like him breathing room as well. Really exciting.
Definitely.
What a break this is from Mike.
Yeah, excellent hit. He's
not ultra power, all about that quality of contact, which he got perfectly.
Yeah, he's got a great split on you'd say reds instantly, but there's work to do on potentially on the 8 ball with your pattern. Reds are definitely the better colour set if you take the 8 ball out of the equation. Might be going into it here, first poke.
Not good. Not good.
Ball's in play.
Yeah, I mean, I like the thought process, but again, it's he's probably just been caught out slightly by the cue ball throwing wider than it normally would and the slide off the new cushions. Guessing if he was practicing in his local club, that would have been a natural angle to just go straight into the 8 ball. Now he's got a decision to make. And it looks like he's pushing forward. Do we think that red over the left-hand side of the table sneaks into the middle bag?
No, I don't. Main camera makes me feel like it does, but you look at the camera we had previously and the overhead, it just doesn't look. He's having a close look at it.
I mean, if you want to get rid of it now, he's on the treble, potentially. Is he thinking here to sort of play into it? Obviously, with 3 balls remaining on the table, if he does take one of these in the middle and play into it, there's 1, no guarantee that it's going to come out nicely for the red, and 2, no guarantee it's going to be on another ball afterwards, unfortunately. But sometimes you're forced into these situations.
Sanction call.
Good shot. Not fully rewarded, but if the red goes bottom right, he is, but I'm not sure it does. The straight one, that is.
Yeah, I mean, could potentially play the red over the left-hand side of the table as we look in off the yellow, which would give him enough of an angle to get into the cue ball and get it past the 8 ball. Well, he'll take that. This will be one of those finishes again. It's probably just a little bit more painful for John to sit and watch. Yeah, good shot, left himself a big pocket in the middle for the 8 ball. Sometimes this is what you have to do, Simon, isn't it? You can't always guarantee that you go out there and get hold of the cue ball exactly as you'd want to over the first couple of frames, but if it goes wrong, you've got to find the recovery shots, keep potting balls, and that's what you've done.
Yeah, it's a statement of a start, isn't it? It gives everyone an opportunity, but it creates storylines as well. You know, the storyline we've got developing with Sean Chipperfield and Jamie Graham, I think is fantastic to see that 6-0, you know, and all of a sudden we're in a, you know, the player that was 6-0 down is arguably favourite for the match. You know, that's a storyline I can get on board with. I think it creates something different, and I really like it. So it gets a lot of ticks from me.
Is that something you can follow throughout the tournament, though? I mean, because obviously we have the question of, if you start playing on a table, would you finish your match on that table? Because obviously, in a situation like that, it might be a great idea to potentially get that match on the stream later, because you're following the storyline of it.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in the matches need to go on the tables they were played on. I really do believe that. I think it would be a strange one to change tables, but I guess anything's possible.
Well, yeah, I think it adds to the difficulty level of the tournament, really, doesn't it? I mean, if you play your first session on a table and you've got a break sorted out and you're flying and you go sort of 8-4 up, and then your sort of second session is on a different table and that same break doesn't work, it's then sort of a 2-session match and a game of 2 halves, if you like, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just want to see the most dramatic moments, I guess.
Well, yeah, but you know, from the first session, the storyline obviously is the Jamie Graham and Chipperfield match, isn't it? So it'd be nice to see how they both cope with that on the stream later, is all I'm saying. Something for UP to consider.
Well, John's first visit to the table, following that mistake from Mike, has not gone well for him. Not settled in yet.
Yeah, and at first glance these yellows may look tricky, but the yellows on the respective rails either side do go in-off balls in the middle. I think the yellow on its own on the right-hand rail as we look does go in-off the red in the middle, if you can get below it. And these yellows on the left-hand side will poke in-off the red. So it might be deal with the yellows on the left-hand side. One here in the middle of the red. Hit it hard enough to get the red clean out of the way. And then I'd be going down the rail bottom left, then up for top left, and leaving the angle on the one in the middle, just to drift over for the final yellow on this right-hand side, in off the red in the middle. Stopped in his tracks there, just wondering if he's come far enough. Looks like he fancies the double.
Oh, I thought that was in when he hit it. I think he did as well. Two chances come and go for Mike in frame 3, and this is now nicely open for John Rowe to get his first frame on the board, get into this match.
Yeah, and in his head he'll be thinking a chance he's got to take, really. Just to get himself going. He'll want to be able to take these out with absolutely no fuss and no bother. Just for his own peace of mind. Come a little far here. Not sure if he can still stun in behind these two reds. Have to screw back. Not ideal though. It looks like he's not going to be able to avoid the other red when he pots this top left, so he's going to have to either judge a cannon or try and slide past it. Judged it nicely. Goes bottom corner past the 8 ball.
Frame.
Yeah, John is on the board then. Two more to give you as we see the break from Mike come up dry. Scott Pope is 7-5 up over Ryan Bassani. We'll see the second half of that match at 4 o'clock. Andy Williams is 7-5 up over Anthony Jeffers. We do have two more matches going that have just kicked off in this session. Lewis Roberts, the second half of John Lewis.
Yep.
Is 2-1 up over Adam Stevens, and Chris Hampson is 2-0 up over Jimmy Grattan.
Yeah, Lewis is a player for me who's been playing a lot better than his results so far this year. If you look at his sort of results, or maybe the 1 year list, if there was such a thing, he would probably be closer to the top than he is the bottom. But for the matches he's actually played, and he's done very little wrong in all of the sort of stream matches I've seen him play, but just come out on the end of other people either playing him off the table or breaks going wrong, really.
From what I've seen of him this year, yeah, I think he's made a massive step forward in the level he's playing at. Not necessarily always translated into deep runs, but it's definitely a step forward.
Yeah, I think him and John will be dangerous this year in the pairs.
John's not looking dangerous at the moment, though. Quite got the cue ball under control. Caused him an issue there. But there is time in this match. What do you think's the perfect number? So we talk a lot about, pool players will tell you a race to 4 isn't enough, a race to 7 isn't enough, a race to 8 isn't enough. Now we've had 10s, now we're at 13. We've seen the money match side of pool world go from, I remember when you first started seeing money matches, races to 15 and 17 were kind of the number, and now people aren't playing money matches unless they're like a race to 30. What would you think's the fair number? If you to go out there and say, I've got enough time here to prove that I'm deserve to win it.
depends really, because I mean I'm like you in the fact that I want variety.
Yeah.
You know, so I like that we've got these big races in these competitions. I think we should have other tournaments where they're sort of really short races and double or treble eliminators, and just, you know, get the drama going, have the golden breaks and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But as for your question, it's a difficult one to answer, because it depends if you're ultimately trying to find the best player or not.
Yeah, so my question is, what's the number to find the best player? Because, you know, we've seen the races keep getting extended, and, you know, there'll be some players still feeling like a race to 13 is still a little bit short to find the best player.
I think if you've got two absolute top players going at it,
What's the turn?
then you've got to be looking to play probably somewhere close to 100 over a couple of days, because having played money matches, you know, races to 25, races to 30, there still can be an incredible chunk of luck involved in those matches.
So we're saying a race to 100 or 100 frames?
A race to 100.
A race to 100.
A race to 100, because then you're testing someone's stamina, you're testing their mental strength. You know, you can't win a race to 100 to 99 and then look back and go, well, yeah, my brakes done me in.
Yeah, I broke dry in the deciding frame, and that, you know, we'll have to have a rematch.
Exactly, exactly. And again, you can play matches where they're race to 25 with maybe 1, 2 tactical frames, if that, sometimes none.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're in a race to 100, it's going to test every part of your game, I think. But the players going into it would already have to be enough mental resolve that, you know, they know if I'm 50 frames to 30 down, there's still a massive long way to go, and you can turn it around, you know.
Yeah, you've got to. It would make a fascinating story. I mean, that's a lot of hours, but it's a fascinating story.
Well, for me, it would be a match that you played probably over sort of maybe 2 or 3 days, you know, 4 or 6 sessions perhaps.
What I'm taking away from that, Chris, is that when I look back at my career, I didn't lose any matches. Matches were just too short for me to prove.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's right. That's the way to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never lost to anyone. I just didn't have long enough to turn it around.
Yeah, I just didn't have long enough to prove I was better. That was a really good loss of turn from Mike. It wasn't just the loss of turn. He got the cue ball absolutely perfect to put John under pressure. John didn't hit the cushion and therefore gave away the foul.
Yeah, ever so slightly unlucky from John, obviously, because he did track the cushion first before he touched the red, and then nothing hit the cushion afterwards. But you have to say, Mike has his reward for playing a great shot. And you would definitely say he has got John bang under it here, wouldn't you?
Yeah, because John hasn't. I mean, I thought winning the frame might settle him in, but he made another, not the foul, but positional, and then missed a tricky pot. So he hasn't really, still hasn't settled down.
Break clear, dry. You know, you need a couple of dry breaks, for instance, to play perfect, and you're back at 10-7, and 10-7, all of a sudden,
Foul.
you're in a match.
Ball in hand from Bulk.
Sorry, Chris, I was suddenly just distracted by just how brutal this is. Watch the cue ball here. Watch it. Oh, that's harsh. That's harsh. Yeah, it's very, very tough for him, because John turned around knowing the cue ball was in the middle of the table and he was in with a chance.
Extension called.
Yeah. And just another little thing that's not going to help John's headspace out there at the moment.
Early call this, but what's the furthest behind you feel John could be and be in with a chance second session? I know that we're going to play 12 frames here, or let's forget about the clock, we should play 12 frames here. And it's only 3-1, so John could still comfortably win this session, but just trying to get a sense of...
I'd still... If John was 10-2 behind, I know it's a long way, but as I was just saying, I still don't think the match is over.
So breaking it down, because it's a race to 13, 10-2.
Yep.
You would then come back in. Let's say you set yourself a target to win, you know, the first mini session in your own mind, as say 4-1. Then you're then 11-6.
Yep.
So you'd still, yeah.
it's about keeping your opponent off the hill, isn't it? In any race, but
Yeah.
in the longer races, the longer you can keep someone off the hill, the better. And as we all know, the hardest frames to win, generally, especially as you sort of move down levels in the game, are the ones to actually get yourself over the line. The top players are the ones that, you know, make the match-winning frames look as easy as the first frame they're playing.
Yeah, agreed. Something I definitely struggled with.
Were you scared of winning or nervous?
I couldn't
or
tell you.
Excited?
Never felt like I was. I honestly couldn't tell you the reason, but there was certainly towards the end before I fully moved into the commentary box, a number of times I was, 6-1 up in a race to 7 or 5-0 up in a race to 6, and just find, and then once you've done that once or twice, every time you get yourself in that position, you think, and you lose a frame. Instead of thinking, well, I'll just get the next one, you're thinking, oh, it's going to happen again.
Right.
And it just, so yeah.
So you just sort of happened a couple of times and then gave yourself a mental block on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Tough.
certainly remember the worst one for me was 5-0 up against the person I was rooming with, and I lost 6-5. He asked me straight away, he said, do you want to go for dinner? I said, no, I don't. I don't. I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'll see you in a few hours.
Yeah. Gonna go to dinner and discuss that.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. I think John obviously was trying to hide the white ball here, but I think he played it, with a fairly happy mindset, in that leaving him dead straight on this red, he probably wouldn't be able to do too much.
Foul.
What?
Wow.
How? How has that happened?
Well,
I'm
yeah.
confused as well.
Wow. Maybe we've swapped it for a funny white ball.
Well, that was incredible. Yeah, he's still confused. Don't blame you.
Is John playing the loss of turn here?
He should do. He doesn't get the loss of turn. He does get the snooker, though.
Might be a case of John's mindset out there, because fair enough, the loss of, you can argue 50-50 loss of turn or pot the balls, and there's those 3 yellows around the middle pocket that might take a little bit of working out, but it looks like the top one of the 3 goes in the middle, which opens up the other 2.
Yeah.
I think that's just a case of John not necessarily feeling as aggressive as he might have done if things gone a bit differently. But
3-1 up, he probably goes.
Yeah.
3-1 down,
yeah. But as always happens in pool, he's got ball in hand here, but Mike's actually made the table worse for John with ball in hand than he had it previously.
Yeah,
ball in hand.
which is your point about, was that the right time to go, because the layout was better than it is now.
Yeah. It looks like John's playing yellow off of the yellow to nudge the red out the way. Should open things up, as long as the red doesn't get in the way down the bottom end of the table here. Which it does.
It does. If that red goes an extra 2 rolls, it's all open.
Yeah, it's one of those shots again where if you're absolutely bang on it, you're thinking, I've got to hit this hard enough to get the red out the way.
And once again, that's made John make the decision to pull back.
Yeah. And even though the shot he's played is absolutely fine, and the previous shot he played was absolutely fine, there's nothing wrong with those. In this situation, John will probably have the feeling that he's not playing well, because in his head he's missed a couple of opportunities, whereas he hasn't actually missed them, he's decided not to go for them. But again, ball in hand, but Mike's potentially pushed the ball safe. It's another problem for John to deal with.
Yeah, now he's got 2 problems to deal with rather than 1.
Yeah.
I thought he was still going to go on that second one. I really did.
Yeah, I mean, the yellow and the red that are tied up at the bottom here, if the yellow goes left centre, that's probably the shot, because I'm not sure what he's going to gain on this.
I think that was more a case of he hadn't worked out what he wanted to do, and 30 seconds was coming up, so
Yeah.
just reset. And He'll probably be in his mind now, in his chair, just thinking about what would he do if he was to get cue ball in hand and nothing moved. You know, kind of half formulating a plan. Of course, you don't expect Mike not to hit a red here.
Yeah, and again, now there's another ball that doesn't go for John. Normally you'd be saying this is not a problem, John's massive favourite, he's well in control of the frame, but watching the frame, it's very easy to see both players' mindset, isn't it? If you said, you know, here's a frame of ball, can you tell me who's feeling better about the game than the other one? You'd be able to tell, wouldn't you?
Yeah. And he is going to go this time, quite rightly, giving himself the angle. But there's no doubt the best chance he's had to go for the finish so far was the first one. If this comes out well, this will be fine as well.
Yeah, that's lovely. Middle corner, 8 in the middle.
I said on commentary when you played on Monday night in the pairs, you made a finish, and I think you had to. I can't remember the finish at all, but I remember thinking, and I was talking about it on commentary, that maybe you had to do more work on the kind of couple of shots than you would have wanted to at the start of the visit, and that you're the sort of player that would go back, maybe not in the moment, but at the end of the night, analyse it and go, could I have found a better route? Was I accurate? Is that the sort of thing you would do?
Yeah, I definitely watch it back and have a look and see what I could have done differently and what I could have done better. And regardless of how John's feeling about that, Mike can use it to his advantage and say to himself, right, you know, I'm going to play more aggressive now because I think John's not feeling it.
Yeah, John's not on it here today, and it's a shame I lost the frame, but I can take some positives from it. Yeah.
Whereas obviously, if first time John gets ball in hand, he takes them out like it's, you know, they're all over the hole. It gives you both players a different mindset. The mental part of the game is, especially in the longer races, is probably makes up for 75% of it, really.
He's got some decisions to make here. He's gonna have to go yellows, but not easy to get these.
Yeah, it looks like he's left himself on the plant, which will open it up nicely. So it's just going to be the yellow on the left-hand side, which is firmly planted on the rail. The red being there makes it a little bit difficult to play on the double because it takes away the room of the cue ball. So it might be one that he's either got to develop or potentially play down the rail. Or if he does leave a double, he's got to leave a ball so he's got nothing to do with the cue ball to get on it. Taking out of the equation, Simon, the fact that we know this table's placed slightly generous anyway and it's just been reclothed. If you didn't know that about this table, would you have been leaving that ball he's just nudged for a double or playing it down the rail? Or nudging it out as he has?
I wouldn't have. I don't think I'd have played the nudge. I think I'm a player that always tried to back myself to make those shots down the cushion, and especially when the table's playing more generous because it's just been reclothed. Would you have played for the ball down the cushion?
Definitely, yeah.
Because that's a little bit more relevant than what I would do. What I would do is play for it down the rail and miss, and slowly work myself towards a broadcast career rather than playing.
So the balls have dictated a route here for Mike. He's obviously going bottom right here, which means the last yellow by the 8-ball spot is going to be left middle. So he's got to make sure he leaves himself straight-ish, just off straight, because he just wants to be able to push through for the 8-ball. And if he's straight, then he'll be fine because he can get the cue ball over by the left centre. Anything below straight is also fine because he's got a big margin, but if he's the other side of straight, he might have to just come below the red on the left-hand side. And he's obviously not quite happy, is he?
No, I think his worry was he was going into the red.
And he is, yeah.
Which is no good.
No. to get this 8 ball closer to the pocket. If he doesn't pot it, there is big value in it.
It's gone the other way.
Further away. Yeah.
Looks to the skies, but he has left John a problem here. I mean, John will be thrilled to get to the table, so it's a problem he'll happily be willing to deal with. But he hasn't left him anything easy to go at, and it's not easy to play a good safety. It's easy to play a safety, but not a good one. Oh, if he's left an edge here, he's left the pot on.
Yeah, well, John's body language will tell you he's left an edge.
Well, he's looking at the kick shot in the centre, so I don't know if he has.
No.
It's a kick shot that he'll feel confident about getting this pretty close. It's also a kick shot that might not leave a ball on for John. If he gets this right. He hasn't left a ball on it. Don't know if he played for that in the corner rather than the middle.
Yeah, I mean, where the 8 ball's gone, it leaves an easy choice for John, I think. He's got options to be able to snooker Mike and develop more difficult balls, as he has done there. So I think he'll be thinking, no matter what happens, whether Mike gets out of this or not, that he'll be going next visit. Obviously the 3 balls on the top left look like they might be a bit tricky, but if you get on the outside one with such an angle, you can sort of stun into the other one just below and guaranteed to be on the top one. Basically, if you've got the cue ball there, which I think is probably where John's going to put it.
Time running.
I'll be very surprised if he plays another shot here to develop a ball and snooker Mike. Yeah, that's fine. The 2 reds together do plant in the middle, so pick your ball to get on the 8 ball.
He should get these, and John knows that. But to me, if he does get these, because you're still getting the sense, just body language, that John's, he always looks grumpy out there when he plays. He's a lovely fella, John, but always looks grumpy.
Yes.
But you get the sense he isn't feeling confident out there. He isn't buzzing. But if he sits in his chair in about a minute and a half, 2 minutes time, and he says, "I'm really not at it, but I'm 3-3,"
yeah,
he's going to be over the moon.
Yeah, 3-3 in his break.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. If he does get his break going, obviously he hits them unbelievably well, and he will get some chances that are almost gimmies because he hits the break that well.
Yeah.
So the longer the race for John, and the more breaks he's got, the more chance he's got of leaving himself really good chances.
He's put himself bang under pressure here, but he drops that in nicely. It wasn't just the angle. Big on the cushion. He left himself, I thought, quite a poor angle. He played that well.
This is one of those shots where you think to yourself, I could play into the 8 ball here, because it's you can stun it across and you think you're going to be on the red, but it can go wrong if you do. And that's why John's opted not to, and he's made the right decision there for me. But again, it looks like he's going to leave himself under it with the 8 ball here.
Oh, he would not have felt good about that when it was travelling down the table and he knew it was going to hit that jaw, but rattles and goes in and highlights the point that you made about, the cloth playing generous.
So, what happens, Simon, because I'm unaware thus far, if we get to the end of the match timer before the 12 frames are played?
Well, perfect time for me to tell you and let you know for when you potentially get out here later on today or tomorrow. We are playing 12 frames in the session. It's a 50-minute session. The clock will stay at 30 seconds throughout the 50 minutes for session 1 of the match.
Okay.
What happens is because, and it will happen here as well, because we've only had 6 frames in the first 34 minutes of this match, So if the frame is midway through,
Great
we
shot.
will see the frame complete.
Okay.
It won't. It essentially, the minute the clock runs out, the frame that we are in will become the last frame of the session.
Yep.
If there's 1 second left, and they will break, and that will then be the last frame.
Okay.
You saw in the previous match that once they got to the 12th frame, the clock was turned off because that is then going to be the final frame of the session.
Yeah.
So there's no sort of buzzer beaters. There's no running around the table at 15 seconds a shot, anything like that.
Okay.
It is just to make sure that is just to indicate that will be the final frame of the session.
Okay. And then what, make up for it in the later
Yes,
session?
if we only play 10 frames in this session, then they'll come back tonight and they'll still play their best of 25, but
Okay.
they've only got 50 minutes, so the likely is the match won't finish at that point, and then it comes down to like we normally see with Ultimate Pool, and clock management and match management will become a big factor.
And if it's level?
6-red shootout.
Okay.
Yeah. Second session becomes like a normal Ultimate Pool tournament where the match clock will force the
So the match clock will drop down to, does the shot clock drop down to 15 seconds?
15 seconds for the final 10 minutes,
Okay.
and you all, if you finish 10-10 at the end of it all, and you've had two
Okay.
50-minute sessions to play your match, and you only got to 10-10, and you're in a 6-red.
Okay. Okay, why not? Who doesn't love watching a 6-red?
It does feel, from a player's perspective, the races. I love the 6-red on the Monday night shows, the races to 4, but there's something. Oh, John, I don't think that went.
Yeah, it was half a pocket at most, wasn't it?
At most. But if you're 10-10 and then someone's going to have to run around the table and play the 6-red, the player in me is saying, oh, that feels tough.
Yeah.
That feels tough. But, that is Ultimate Pool. The Ultimate Pool, the 6-red shootout is synonymous. The 6-ball shootout, we see it in America, it is synonymous with Ultimate Pool. It is part of what Ultimate Pool is. And because I don't think you can have a timed match without... It's not, otherwise you're going to have to come up with a different way of ending the match. And I'm all for it. As I said before, I like variety. I'm all for that experimentation. But the 6-red, 6-ball shootout is part of Ultimate Pool.
I've heard people say in the past, especially when it comes to sort of longer races like this, when the match clock runs out and we make that the final frame, obviously if that frame then makes the match a draw, what would be the problem with playing a decider on the 15-second shot clock rather than a 6-red?
Yeah, I'm personally, I would be all for those discussions. I'm not involved in that side of Ultimate Pool.
Well, you
so
should be, Simon.
Well,
You
I
watch
commentate.
more pool than
They ask
anyone.
my opinion, I give my opinions, and then it goes from there. But
Was that going to reach? No.
one thing I will say is from a
Time running.
player's perspective, I understand the 6-red shootout can be frustrating, but also it is a massive part of what Ultimate Pool is, and Ultimate Pool is timed matches. It is a huge part of what we're all trying to do. So if it remains, I'm all for that.
No, I agree, and I love the 6-red, and I think it should remain. But in the name of variety,
Yes, I would be with
there
you.
should
Yeah.
be at least one,
And
maybe
you-
a couple of tournaments where it's not.
Yeah, and if you were ever gonna have a tournament where you were gonna take it away, this would be the one. I'm with you.
Yeah.
And I do think there would be something in that kind of. You could still get the buzzer beater to win the match, the buzzer beater to get yourself. You've got to make this clearance. To get us into a potential.
Yeah.
There's still there's a lot to be said for that.
But what I would say is, in the pro ranks, I mean, I am very much for the 6-red because I love watching it. So when people say about the 6-red, I think to myself, would I want to watch that to decide a match? Yeah, of course I would, because of the drama and the brilliance of it. But with my player's hat on,
Yeah.
I would rather someone had to take out a finish in a decider to beat me and
Yeah.
see if they've got the
Yeah.
minerals without,
Yeah.
you can put it lots of different ways, but some of the best finishes are those ones you make under the pressure of it's 6-all.
Yeah.
And
I think, and this is probably because people will say this because I'm the broadcasting side of things now, but I think the most important thing to make that decision is what is best for the viewer. So
Correct.
you worded that right.
Yeah.
You could, without the viewers, you don't have
exactly.
You don't have the spectacle. You don't have tournaments, and you can run the tournaments however you like, and you could all turn up and play races to 100 for, over the course of a few weeks if you wanted to, but you'll be playing for for a very small amount of money. You need viewers, you need TV coverage, you need that to elevate the sport to where we all want it to get to. So what is the best thing for the viewer is how to frame that decision to be made. There's no doubt about it. The 6-red shootout has been very, very good for the viewer.
Well, in that case, it's got to be viewer votes, isn't it? You get to the end of the match, the viewers
Could you
vote.
imagine that?
Do you have a 6-red? Do you play a decider?
Yeah, we'll be putting up a phone number later on. You can text in your decision. get online. You get to
That's
vote.
it.
How are we deciding it? We can have a 6-red. We can have a final frame. We can have an arm wrestle.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, if there's any John Rowe fans out there, they're voting for the arm wrestle.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I wouldn't fancy it. That's the ultimate in reality TV, isn't it? Hey, get the viewers to vote on it. What would you like to see?
Go all I'm a celeb on it and get them eating some strange stuff out there.
Yeah. You can eat a can of tuna quickest.
Again, I'm voting for John Rowe.
Yeah, probably.
We're into the final 10 minutes here. We've replayed 6 frames. This definitely has elements that you could definitely start thinking about the 6-red shootout later on.
Don't blame him for having a poke at that, because where he's left it far jaw, I'm not sure if the red goes in off the other red and squeezes past the yellow. I can't see on the screen how close those reds are together. If they're touching, it won't go. If they're not touching, you could squeeze the red between the jaw and the yellow pocket.
He's just given the frames.
Yeah.
And he knows it.
Yeah.
That is an absolute gift here for Mike. He can still pop this yellow. And
I can only assume that John thought he was going to nudge the yellow over the pocket to behind the 2 reds.
great chance here for Mike to get himself back in front.
It's okay. Ideally, probably wanted to be straight or just off straight the other side, so he could just screw back for a simple 8 in the middle, but it's got to come on and off the cushion now and leave it down the bottom. Again, he slightly underhit it.
Put himself bang under pressure on this 8 ball.
Yeah, I mean, so much so I'd be taking it in the other corner now. He's just having a look at it there. If you really wanted to, you can get a good cue ball and push it across to the side rail as well. But he's just concentrated on the pot, made it.
13 frames and 50 minutes as well. So it's interesting, isn't it? The way this match has just been just an outlier really in terms of number of frames played.
Yeah, it's quite a small percentage, as you say, isn't it? What, 10%, maybe less than 10% of matches don't go all the way?
Yeah.
And there's a few 7/6s in there as well.
Yeah,
aren't there?
there's plenty now that I think everyone's general pace has picked up. I think there's 30 seconds a shot is, if you use the full 30 seconds on every shot, is a long time.
Yeah.
But players' natural pace is now picked up to the point where they'll use 30 when you need to, but more often than not, they're all there. They're just going to get down and knock them in quite quickly, because the benefit of that is you're saving time for the back end of the match. And also, you want your natural pace to be quicker so that when you get to 15 seconds, it's not so jarring.
Yes. Correct.
Should get these to get back 2 in front. These are there. Shouldn't really be any reason not to get them.
Yeah. They come out brilliant, didn't they? And like you say, there shouldn't be any reason not to get them, but just because of the way the match has gone so far, it almost wouldn't surprise me if something did go a little bit awry.
I think he had to go forward more there, didn't he?
I think he's okay. He can screw this one back. Oh, he's taking the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I think he's off angle on both of them. No, he's okay. He could just drop. He knew he was going to be above the middle pocket. He's fine. But I'm like, I was assuming he would play the one he's just played as his connection to the one down the table.
Yeah.
To then play that this one was always going to be his last ball.
Yeah, just purely because you're then sort of a couple of foot closer to the ball, aren't you?
Yeah. He shouldn't.
Again, it's not a ball you're
Yeah.
probably ever going to miss, but when you're a couple of foot closer to it, you get it 100 out of 100 instead of 99 out of 100, don't you?
Well, there you go. There is the one. And I actually think the reason he's missed that is because he's slightly worried. Just a hint of it in his own mind is thinking, don't slide too far across the table and you know, get close to that 8 ball or stick on it or do something silly. Because of that just turn of angle, he couldn't cue that one through. I mean, he could have done, but that's probably what was in his mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I just got that feeling when he had 4 balls left, and he was taking what you would consider for the finish that he had. It was just a little bit too much time.
Yeah.
Almost as if his brain's telling him, don't get these wrong, rather than pot them and get them right.
When he had 3 in the middle of the table, it was just a case of make sure you were staying on one straight in, you know, or just about straight in, right centre, and it took a long time to work that out.
Yeah. And again, you can't disagree with the option John's picked here. He was going to leave the red over the hole to cover the 8 ball and lay the snooker on Mike, but that red popping out just means that John will be slightly worried here, because this is a free shot for Mike, and if he does get it, the 8 does go.
You'd expect to win the frame from here 2 or 3 times out of 10, wouldn't you?
Yeah, definitely.
He hasn't on this occasion.
Yeah,
That's probably more to do with Mike not playing on the table that much. I know he's had 45 minutes of play out there, but probably the first time he's had to play a shot like that in the match, where it just didn't come off at the angle he was expecting.
Yeah. But whereas you would normally say ball in hand here for John, these are gone. There's just enough of a problem in a couple of places here.
Yeah, the first shot wasn't the best. He needed to come across there and be able to pot the one he's just played without moving the other one and play on the one up the table. So he had the one that he's just moved as his connection back down.
Yeah.
He's just asked himself a little question here. You can see him fighting himself. Almost see the cogs turning.
Yeah, because he's not ideal here. He'll be probably worried if I don't get into it too much, I can go in off in the middle. Oh, he's going top. So again, it could trap.
He's nowhere.
Yeah.
He's nowhere, and the yellow is still hanging over the pocket.
What I will tell you, in the hope that I don't absolutely jinx him, is he is one of the best doublers in the game.
Okay. Don't tell John if this misses. The problem is, I don't think he's going to end up nicely on the last ball if he makes the double.
No, but he has got a shot where he can just play off the side of this ball and leave Mike snookered again.
Full into it, but again, Mike should win the frame. What, 30% of the time from here?
Well,
oh, you can see the yellow. If you can see the head of the pot, he should win it now. But
I don't think you can see it to pot it. But the thing is here, game management for me, I wouldn't be going up and down.
Really?
I would be going off the bottom cushion, just nudging into the yellow and leaving the cue ball in that bottom and saying to John, I know you're bang under it because you refused a few. So there you go. Put him under some more pressure.
Did he learn from the previous one? Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Nice
Great
shot.
Great shot. In fairness, the way he's played it, he wouldn't have been leaving John a great deal anyway. So, cue an 8 ball in. Nope.
Well, we're down to 145 left here. Now, most important thing for both these players is to win this frame. But would John want to win this frame and make this the last frame, or would he want to try and get one more frame, try and win it inside that 1:30 to try and have the break to edge in front? I think if you offered him 4-4 now,
if I'm being completely honest with you, I wouldn't imagine either of them have got any idea what the match clock's doing at the moment.
No, I think you're right.
So Yeah, that's
Most
not a bad
important
shot
thing
for
is
John.
just to win this frame.
Again, he can go off the top cushion if he wants to try and put it in the middle, which is, you know, again, maybe a 2 in 10.
He's doing that.
I'm not sure it's the right shot in these circumstances.
You just play the 8 ball onto the red and make sure it hits the cushion.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's gifted it. I mean, that's left John just
Yeah.
perfect to win the frame.
Yeah.
Now John needs to make the decision. Do you want to have one more frame after this or not? That he has got that decision to make, if it's even in his mind.
I mean,
Can't
again,
believe
he's played it again as a shot to nothing, hasn't he? Because you know he's going to get that red probably 9 times out of 10 that he's left himself on. But a confident John is leaving himself straight plumbing behind that red and not worrying about leaving the 8 ball on because he's going to pot the other ball.
Yeah, I'm really shocked at the way he played it. I mean, he would have been further across the table if he makes the pot. So I suppose it wasn't, maybe not even in his mind what he was leaving. But
And if this cue ball goes awkward, no, it hasn't.
okay. The clock is off, so that tells us that
Last
we are
frame.
essentially, this is the last frame. There is,
That's okay.
yeah. Even that will be in John's mind going, have I left this on the cushion? What have I just done to myself?
Yep.
This wants to be his final shot of the session. And it's a good one. In
shot.
goes the 8 ball. Well, a very, very, very tough session of pool there for both players. John Rowe, former world champion. He will be over the moon to be 4-4 the way he's just played there.
Definitely. But don't you like seeing a session of pool like that rather than a dish fest every now and then?
Every now and then it is very nice. You know, what is it like? Obviously it's tough for, you've got a few players now that travel over from Malta. What's the support like from back home, and how tough is it to keep coming over?
It's quite tough. A lot of people make you courage messages. They can. The Maltese are very nice people. I tell them hello and thanks from my heart from here. They try to help in every way possible, but it's still hard because with the traveling, you have to spend a lot of time coming for these tournaments and preparing for them.
Well, it's great to see you come over and entertain us, and congratulations on the win. Best of luck when we when you go back out there and you're playing again. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Because of that run to a 6 red shootout, the match that went past the finish, went to overtime, went to the 6 red shootout, means we are going straight on here. No waiting around. We're straight back in with another really tough match. We said at the start, as Luke Terry rejoins me, start this second session, if you like, of matches. We had 2 one-sided matches, and we had 2 tight matches. Well, we've just seen one of the tight matches go all the way, and well, it's hard to see this one do anything but that, the way they played this afternoon.
Yeah, John's just not really kind of built up any momentum at all, has he? It's tough out there no matter who you are. I think if you're struggling, I think we've really seen a mixed bag from John all year in terms of the fact that at times he's played like we know of John Rowe, that world-class professional that's taken down so many titles. But then we've also seen this kind of other side where he just kind of throws a really bad match in every so often, and unfortunately John's doing that at the moment. Obviously time for things to change, but only 50 minutes now.
I don't know, I mean, it's probably unfair to say it because, you know, I'm saying it because John's a former world champion. He is an ultimate pool professional. You feel like if one player was going to stretch away, it would be John. Part of me feels, I mean, I commentated on the match this afternoon. Mike missed a real trick. He probably, I mean, I know they only played 8 of the 12 frames, but let's say they do, he probably should be 6-2 up here. If he's 6-2, then they play more than the 8 frames they have. But he's the one that you feel, he had John for the taking this afternoon and he didn't. John Wolfe would have been so relieved to come out of that session all square. And if he wins this opening frame, which is obviously very much in the balance, you feel like he could all of a sudden start to build momentum and gain, for almost, that sensation of, oh, I've got away with one here.
But that's exactly what this format is about, and it's what we spoke about at the start of the tournament. When you have your bad session, just don't lose.
Yep.
You know, sometimes it's not about winning; it's just avoiding defeat. You know, and as we've seen kind of in the first match, you know, Cohen was never going to recover from 9-3, but John, in the position he is, as badly as he's played, he can recover this from 4-all. All he's got to do is win a couple of frames and get clear, and then you'd back him to go on and win. So, as I say, it's that real mixed bag of the tournament. You know, once again in the last match, Scott Pope stretched ahead, went 9-5. Ryan Bassani came back, and then all of a sudden, for the last couple of frames, they couldn't hit a barn door, and it ended up going to a decider.
Yeah, Scott will be wounded by that one. He knows he should have won the match. He had the opportunity to clear up to win it, and I think the decision to move the 8-ball will come back to really bite him, because, well, it has come back to bite him because he's now out of the tournament.
It's pressure of the cauldron, isn't it? Like, Scott would never do that out on an out the table, but sometimes playing on that TV table, even if you've been there time and time again, when the pressure's put on you, all of a sudden you've got to find something extra, or you feel you have to.
Interesting decision from John Rowe. He's just bumped that red down so that he's got the perfect breaker ball, but he's also left sight of the ones at the top of the table, almost teasing Mike here. Mike not going to fall for it. It's just going to contain more than anything else.
And this isn't what either player would have wanted to get things kicked off. When John hit that first break, obviously you've seen all of the balls clattering into the top left corner. You felt at that point, if the split was nice, he probably could have just gone, and then we would have seen this kind of free-flowing game again. But as it was, they all ended up tied up, and now they're back into this scrappy affair again, where they're kind of nipping and tucking.
Yeah, and there was a lot of the containing this afternoon. The first 2 frames were finishes from Mike, but after that, it was everything was neither of them could find a finish, and then it was these sort of tactical exchanges, just both of them almost wanting the other to go.
I mean, yeah, Mike felt probably like he needed to go there. It was in advantage John Rowe in this, and John may take the opportunity now, I don't know. But
this will give us a really good insight into how he's feeling out there right now, because he's perfect here to go, but he was, I'd say, fairly negative because he knew he wasn't playing well this afternoon. It almost made him more negative. I think it'll probably feel like in his mind he should go, but he may not be feeling right to go. And that's not come out well.
Do you know what? With John, it's body language. You can see it when John walks around the table. Sometimes he almost looks like he's walking around going, "Oh, really?" Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got to do this. And when he's like that, you just never see things turn out right for him. But sometimes you then see John approach a game and he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to go for it." And when he does, he plays awesome. But you can just tell at the moment he's a bit deflated. He's not got the oomph behind him that he sometimes does.
Almost seeing the negative before it's happened, and shots like the one he played previously, he's probably thinking, "Oh no, I think this is going to come out wrong." Well, it has come out wrong.
I mean, he's still at the advantage in this frame here, don't get me wrong, but he'll know in himself that he's probably had a couple of opportunities already. That's a great pot from Mike, though.
He doesn't have the advantage in the frame anymore. What a shot that is.
I mean, that's definition of perfect cueing, isn't it? Dropped it in at perfect weight, just off the cushion, and he's landed quite nicely on his next yellow.
If the other yellow does go in the right centre, he has an out. He may not get right behind it, but yeah, you can see he's going to be left-hand side of the 8-ball as we look, so it will be a delicate drop in the centre pocket.
He's just left a double.
He is eyeing up the pot still.
I suppose it is a natural angle to come back across the face of the 8. This is a tetchy little pot, this. Oh, he's missed it high.
Don't be straight.
Oh,
Don't
don't
go
go
in
in
off.
off.
Wow. What is he doing? believe that.
I was going to say, I thought Mike had come really high on the 8 ball there. I mean, he's still fine, but I think he definitely wanted to be a little bit more behind it than he is. But yeah, Mike's going to get that frame on the board, but this is...
It just, the story of the match, you always think at the start of the new session it might change, but that was, if you weren't with us this afternoon, just imagine that frame of pool 8 times, and it is a race to 13. I am going to be surprised if either player gets there unless one of them gets on a real roll. We are not going to see anywhere near the 25 frames of pool in this match.
I'm going to be honest, I'm almost treating this like the Masters from last year. This could just be a first to 8.
It could be. It could be. And more frustration here for John because it's a dry break, but he has nothing to go at whatsoever.
And there we are, we're back into the nip and tuck again.
While they're doing this, let me just update you on a few scores because
I thought you were going to say get the tent out.
let's get the 10 out. Tom Cousins won 13-3 over Kevin Bradford. We saw that. He'll take on Cole Bedford in the next round, who won 13-7 over Andy Barker. Jez Graham won 13-10. James Lewis. Jake Dillon Newlove won a deciding frame over Brian Halcrow. Connor Tracy 13-8 over Paul Bradford. Chris Alexander with one of the shocks of the round beat Ryan Fleming 13-3. Carl Sutton won 13-5 over Kevin George. Scott Gillespie, the defending champion, 13-1 over Keith Warren. Matt Cook over his namesake Ray Cook, 13-4. Ryan Lambeth lost a deciding frame to Andy Millard. He came into the second session 8-4 up, did Ryan, and he ended up losing the second session 9-4 to lose the match by 1 in that decider. Shane Thompson returned to form, 13-1 over Mark Redding. Sean Chipperfield 6-0 down to Jamie Graham. He won the match 13-9. Managed to pull it back to 7-5 in session 1. Won the second session 8 frames to 2. Huge turnaround, and why we really do like these split session matches, and exactly what you were talking about before. Luke Sanjis won comfortably, 13-4 over Danny Balshort. We have a 6 red. As if you've only just joined us, you'll have just missed Scott Pope losing out to Ryan Pisani in a 6 red shootout, and Andy Williams is 12-11 up over Anthony Jeffers right now. Chris Hampson 11-4 up over Jimmy Grattan. Lewis Roberts 10-4 up over Adam Stevens. Your matches right now. Quite a few deciding frames in there. In fact, Carl Morris, I didn't mention that one. He's just won over Chris Hall, 13-11.
Once again, that's another poor miss from Mike. Just a shot along the cushion. Nothing really to do with the white ball. Rattles it in the jaws. I mean, it's helped that he's missed early because John's not really got a finish on, but there's just no momentum gained by either player at the moment. That's a nice shot though from John. Just utilised, open up an extra red. He's been unlucky that another red's kind of sat safe, but I mean, going back to your point, I mean, from what I've watched today, there have been a couple of players that I feel like have played really well. I mean, I know it's still ongoing, but Lewis Roberts has really impressed me against Adam Stevens. Adam's a great youngster in the under-25s tour that definitely could have caused an issue, and he's seemingly kind of nullified that issue really well. And Carl Sutton is another one again. He's somebody that I've really backed for tournaments recently. He keeps coming close, but not quite getting over the line. But Kevin George, again, is another tricky customer that's in those kind of tier 1 areas, and for Carl to kind of kill him off like that is another good sign of a potential run.
Yeah, Carl Sutton, of course, lost out in the World Final. Did not make a mistake in the World Championship Final and did not win. He was so tough for him. Ronnie McCarthy played brilliantly from behind to win that match.
Yeah, Ronan's in this weekend, isn't he? Obviously, don't know exactly when he kicks off, but it'd be interesting to see how he kind of backs it up because we've not really seen him since. So
yeah, plays this evening in the last 64. The walkover this afternoon.
Yeah, once again, we're into this position where John's going to have to kind of dig deep to win the frame.
Yeah, this match is shortening up so much here. We've got 37 minutes left and
1 frame played.
1 frame played. Both players need, well, what does Mike need? Mike needs 8. John needs 9. That's how far away we are from the finishing line.
Going for a loss of turn. Yeah. Okay, that opens things up slightly for him. It's not bad. John just opting to roll onto the ball there. Don't think Mike can reach that to cut it, so he might have to come off the side cushion. So it's a bit of a clever acknowledgement from John that he wasn't going to be able to reach it. That's so frustrating as a player when you know you can put a ball but just can't reach it. Oh, needs to hit the cushion, and has. Good shot there, because John may have to take on the pressure red to the middle just to give himself another shot here to try and get safe. Just in another route. Yeah, he's just going to dump the white up the top end. Well, 8 being the target, might become 7 at this rate.
He's quite amazing.
You just don't see it, do you, that often, where kind of both players just can't get out of first gear. You sometimes see it, obviously, where one player struggles and the other one, you know, takes a bit of time, eventually beds in, and then starts to do damage midway through the match. But there's just been no sign of progression from either player from frame 1. If anything, I think Mike maybe had a little bit of momentum at the start and went backwards. Like,
At some point you feel that John's going to have had enough of this and really try and break out.
he might have a shot here. I don't know if he's got enough of the middle red of the 3 to clip off of the yellow.
I believe that shot's on. I think it's comfortably on, actually. Doesn't have to play it, of course. Can play the bottom one and then take the next one to play the breakout.
I think you've just got to think out of this negative mindset, and you've just got to go for it a little bit more. You know, I think the way that John's playing, I think you'd rather just go out swinging, and rather than just constantly playing this kind of negative pool that he has throughout this match and end up going out to it. That's a good shot.
The other thing that happens is shortening this match benefits Mike, does not benefit John. I think he just needs to try and get some momentum up and try and pull away, try and find some rhythm.
Just free your arm, just kind of flow a little bit more. Walk around the table with a bit more authority, even if you don't mean it. If you do that, it just sends signals to your opponent. Right now, John just looks way too casual and like it's a chore.
Yeah. Arguably the two best players, certainly by ranking terms, behind Tom Cousins over the last 12 months. Phil Harrison and John McAllister have been winning plenty of titles, and they're playing each other in the second round. Big match, that one.
He finally gets a good break, and look where he's left. That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Sometimes the pool gods just aren't with you at all, are they?
Mike can see the funny side of it.
Never know. One of them might see it as an opportunity for playing for the 6 red already.
Yeah, this has to open up quite quickly. Can't quite keep doing this, I don't think.
Well, the problem is that even if one of them gets out of this corner, you know, the reds and the yellows are all scattered. You've got clusters of them. The red and yellow sat on the right-hand side cushion. On the left-hand side cushion, you've got 4 more put together.
I think this is John inviting Mike to have a go here. I'm with you. You don't want to go, because even if you have a pot on, how are you going to clear up? But he's teased him. He's saying, come on, do you want to play this plant on reds and go reds, because there's some bad balls out there?
Yeah, but then again, Mike can just pot this red. I was going to say, if he potted that red and just left it over the pocket, he could then just play safe again, just knowing that he's got a ball set.
But then fast forwarding it, John then plays a loss of turn, then yellows are in control anyway. I think he should have played safe there. I think that John wanted him to go, and he's going. Now he's going to have to get him. Otherwise, John becomes favourite for the frame. John is now favourite for the frame.
Yeah. Yeah, the advantage of the balls now comes in where John is going to have more space on the table to play safe, more places to duck and dive, and
that's just from 2 balls being potted.
Yeah,
that's what's happened there. That is, that is John just schooling him a little bit. Just said, look, he could have, because John could have put him into a safe position there, but John purposely has left him that plant and said, come on, do you fancy this?
That's international rules for you. I actually don't know what Mike's background is as to whether he's maybe played black ball rules or a different form of the game. Sometimes if you do, sometimes you don't see that as naturally. But, I mean, he has played a good shot there.
He has, especially if that red on the right-hand side could be played off the yellow, because it means that John does have an issue in terms of he can't leave something on. Obviously he's got an issue because he only can see a couple of edges. It's fine. Good shot.
Yeah, because it just removes that off in the middle, doesn't it? So
it may not have been on anyway, but it certainly isn't now.
Yeah, it looks quite dead to the cushion. I don't even think Mike could double that, even if he, or if he could, he'd have to leave himself really thin on it. So he maybe try and cut this in, maybe knock the yellow to the cushion. It's just come away a little bit for him, but
again, he's playing into John's hands. John wants him to pot that ball, and he has.
Yeah. Yeah, this doesn't double. There's no way that doubles. Yeah, I've got no idea how he gets out here, really. I mean, unless he plays a treble, then a double.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that.
Well, I mean, definitely not how the game's gone, but
well, no, I mean, I just don't see it anyway. But yeah, you're right. I mean,
yeah, this is what I mean. I mean, in theory, you can play a double to the corner here and then treble the other red into the left middle, but you're really clutching at straws here if you're in Mike's position. This is never a position that you should have left himself in from the start of the frame. Well, he has played a double to the middle, and I think he's got it.
Oh, it's an excellent double.
I mean, it's an excellent double, but where do you go from here?
Yeah. Can he straighten this enough to make that treble? He looks too high on it.
Well, he couldn't double it, could he? He couldn't straighten it enough to double it.
No, he's looking at the treble, so he does believe he can straighten enough. I think he can. Just has to miss the yellow. It's probably quite a makeable shot, because you're really going to have to hit this quite firm, straighten it. If it just misses the yellow, you'll go close.
He's hitting this plain ball, so he's not digging it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Well, it's an interesting loss of turn.
Loss of turn.
Look where the red's gone, though. And John is now fully in control of this frame.
I'm going to be honest, if Mike had got out from there, I might have just retired from the comms booth. It's just one of those that was just never on. And
the problem that John's had in this match hasn't been winning those battles. It's been winning from this position. He has had a number of times in this match where he's won that tactical exchange, and then he's not been able to find the counter clearance or the mop up at the end. And we've already seen that play out today. The first frame of this evening session, exactly that. He wasn't able to find the finish, and he looks like he's not going to find. He's still in shape here, but he's got the two on the right hand side, one on the left hand side, and you look like he's not seeing it.
yeah, no, you can see he's not seeing the pattern, because he's had to look at about 3 different balls here as to where he could land, where he could play it. He's not certain of his pattern. He didn't look comfortable cutting that yellow in the middle, to be honest with you. But sometimes, once again, you've just got to see something and go for it. And even if it goes a bit wrong, at least, just keep throwing yourself in there and something will eventually come. But I think he's okay here, because he can cut this one into the corner. Just needs to judge the other yellow where that's going.
If he gets it full, he'll hold into the left centre and pop it down. He's sent it a bit further than I thought he would want to. He's still fine.
He's got a nice angle on this yellow, to be fair, to play down for it. Yeah, he's okay. I thought that was just going to come up short then for a second, but
This 8 ball to get himself in front in the match. The way he's played, he'll be so happy to be in this situation.
At every tournament he's played in, you know, whether there's been an expectation or not, he's just come out, looked confident and done his thing. And that's why he's earned so many results this year. Whereas with John, you kind of see it. You see that I should be doing this. And it's because of that, maybe he puts that extra bit of pressure on himself. I don't know at tournaments, as casual as he looks, but I don't know. But yeah, no, I think in the next match, I think he does need to almost act a bit like a Christie, someone that's just going to go out and go, yeah, I'm going to throw my arm at it and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, agreed. He just has to try and get himself into that. He's now 1 in front. We've got half this session left. There's 26-34. Forget about the race to 30. Neither player's getting there. It's about winning the clock, getting in front and holding on.
Yeah, John's got Mike where he wants him in this one, really. Too much Mike can really do. John's got that coverage of both yellows towards bottom pockets. A little cluster towards the middle. The only thing really stopping John winning this frame now is that yellow on the left-hand side cushion. It's going to cause a bit of work.
2 ways to break it out. And that's not worked for Mike. He might, oh, he's going to just pull up. I was going to say, he might just leave him the perfect angle to break that out straight away. I wonder, does it double straight away into the corner? It'd be a big shot because there is a way out now for Reds. Now the Red's gone to the bottom left. You can deal with those 2 Reds on the left-hand side. I think he's probably better to find an angle to break it out because you do have 2 good balls to do that.
Yeah, I think if you didn't have the yellows towards the bottom pocket and you didn't have the ones towards the middle, you'd maybe take that double on. But where you've got advantage of the balls, you may as well give it a go.
That's a poor shot from John, and he knows it. He was trying to hit the 8 ball full in the face. If he hits the 8 full in the face, he has the perfect angle to go on and off the cushion and into the yellow from behind. He's guaranteed to be on 2 balls from there, and now he doesn't have that angle.
Well, see, now he's looking at a treble.
Yeah.
And
That was a poor shot from John.
he's gone for it.
That's a better shot.
Yes,
It's still not nice.
yeah, it's not come out enough. He probably needed that to come out. Another roll, but then if it comes out another roll, then you block the one to the middle. So yeah, once again, it's just not coming easy, is it?
I think you had to take the one over the corner first here and pull it back. 'Cause I think if he drops the one into the centre, the one he's just moved, he has to drop it in dead weight and he's not on the next yellow. Whereas he pulls it back, he's got an area where he'll have options. If he comes back too far, he can pop the higher one and get on the lower one, or pop the higher one, move the lower one.
Does he feel like he can drop this in?
Yeah, but I think the problem with dropping it in is you're not on the next ball. Hit it firmer than I thought he was going to. I thought he had to dead weight that in.
So did I. He's done pretty well there, to be honest with
It's a
you.
really, really good shot. He's going to take this one long.
But this is slightly better from John. He's actually attacked this a little bit more.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to see.
Not if you're in the Mike Chappell camp, for sure.
Oh, of course, yeah. If you're in Mike's situation, you want him to stay negative. But at the end of the day, I mean, Mike has had, what, 12 frames of opportunity to really kind of set his mark while John struggled, and he's not done it.
Break again. It is fabulous.
I mean, that's...
He's still not got the clean cut. Still not got the clean cut chance. Yeah, that's the Rice smile. He's almost made too many balls here. You don't expect to have an absolute roadmap of a finish, but he's got work with not too many balls to do the work.
I wonder if he can play this one into the left corner and leave himself an angle on the one in the middle to kind of banana into it.
Problem with that is he's all eggs in one basket. But he probably has to do that.
I almost don't mind it because it's...
Can he play red into cushion off the yellow in open up the pocket for the other one so he sort of goes about it in a cleaner way?
Do you know what? On the overhead, it does actually look a realistic shot. Yeah, no.
I think he's going with your option. He doesn't have to banana it, I don't think. I think he can play this natural. Miss the first red, catch the next one half ball, and he'll be on a choice of 2 balls. No?
He's decided for neither. I don't quite know what he's gone for there. Is he just waiting it and doing your shot with the next one? I don't.
He must have been playing on the shot I was calling, and he's just overhit it. He must have been playing on that.
He's a long way out.
There's no way you play for right centre.
Yeah, no. Right centre is your buffer ball. You don't want to be taking this now, but he's forced into it.
So now he has to play the shot that I talked about, whilst getting on the other one, which adds to the tariff of it quite significantly.
Well, once again, he's just going to have to leave himself a double with it. It's not really got much of an option. It's a good pot. Now needs a good double.
How easy you played that. How poor was the shot into the left centre 2 shots ago, 3 shots ago?
Oh, yeah.
Because all he had to do was drop it in, and he's got that shot, and now he'd be on right centre to get across the table. That was such a poor shot when he was coming up the table. He had about 1.5 foot to land in, and he went too far.
Has he got it? No. I mean, the white ball was nowhere anywhere, even if he got it in. The only thing is, though, here for Mike, there's not really a place to hide. I don't know if he's got the option, actually, just where he's got the black and the yellow. If he could maybe just use the yellow that's kind of towards kind of the black ball spot on a snooker table, and just open up the 2 yellows, run the white through. Because I don't think from that position John will be able to cut the red, but at the same time I don't think it gives him the top cushion option either, so that might be the shot. Just use this yellow to open up the other 2. A bit like that, but doing it that way just gives John the option to play that shot with a bit of right hand side.
Does this go?
Yeah, I think it does.
If it goes to the corner, then it's a dead weight pot.
Oh, to the corner. Sorry,
yeah.
my apologies.
I think that's what he was looking at, because he doesn't have to do anything with the cue ball. He can drag it in. Has he got to play your shot and come off the top cushion? I think he has.
I think even if he's got that, yeah, I'll be honest with you, I feel like Mike's got away with one there, because he was always leaving that top cushion the way that he played it.
Worst way, yeah. Yeah, I'm with you.
If he played that shot to open up the balls and runs through and leaves the white this side of the table, he's got the blockers of the 8 ball and the yellow.
And he wouldn't be able to do anything with it because he couldn't play natural, because it'd go in off from wide. So yeah, I think it was a poor choice of shot from Mike, and he's got away with it. Now he can go and win the frame, though. A frame he absolutely needs to get as well.
That's a poor opener. Probably wanted to land on the one to the middle first. It's got a good angle here, so just needs to adjust this right hand side on this. Just bring it over. He's lucky with a flick on the 8. He's overrun that otherwise.
I can only assume he thought he was getting the full ball cannon on the 8 ball. Stay on the right hand one of the 2.
Possibly.
Because he wouldn't play to skim off it, and he absolutely overhit the shot by quite a way.
Yeah, just drop this in and play the yellow into the right middle, I don't. This is just another one to note down in the pen pad as another one that got away from John.
Yeah, it's another one that he knows he should have won.
Chris Hampson played awesome that
Trailing
weekend,
7 frames to 6.
and it's just seemed like a long time since we've seen him kind of really perform at that level. And it would be nice to see him turn up this weekend, but obviously a long way to go.
Yeah, good first round though for Chris. Frustration for Mike. You could see he showed it there. not making a ball. Didn't look like a particularly good contact, in all honesty. And it's not a particularly good layout. Make a case here for Reds, but 8-ball needs a lot of work.
That's a bit of a poor one from John, that really. Plays the plant, immediately puts the red on the cushion, knocks another red safe into the cluster. Now he's going to have to play another safety after shot 1. You know, okay, the clearance was tough, but he should be getting further than this. Good safety. Doesn't really give Mike too many options. Wonder if Mike, it'd be a bit risky to potentially look to try and sit the white on the 8-ball and the yellow, maybe. Something else he prefers. He's tried to kind of dead it onto the yellow. Just a bit of a nothing shot really. Doesn't do too much of a way. I think he was trying to sit it in a way that blocked the 2 reds to the bottom right. As it is, John's just going to play the plant on these 2.
Wanted the 8-ball, not the yellow. Took all the sting out of it.
Do you know what? I wonder if he's just okay here.
He is okay, yeah. And the 8-ball goes bottom left. Actually, couldn't have worked out better, in all honesty. First glance, you're like, oh no, but yeah, he's got the clip in the right centre. You can drift up, right centre, and the one left by the 8-ball. It's all good.
Didn't need to play that.
Can only assume he felt he wasn't going to get. He was drifting up too far towards the top left-hand corner pocket, and he wasn't going to leave a good angle. But it looked like he had a more natural route.
He's just still perfect here. Got to play the cut into the left corner. Missed it.
Another one that gets away from John Rowe.
And Mike somehow has got the opportunity here to level the scores, which, to be honest with you, he's had absolutely no right to.
In the first session, it was Mike having those chances and not taking them. This session, it's John.
Mike's actually got a nice shot here, just to kind of screw from the yellow and the top part, just down the table with a bit of right. Just play into an area. Where you could potentially go wrong here is trying to land on a specific yellow. Don't think he meant to play that gap, did he?
No, holds up his hand, but not sure what advantage he gains.
I think that if that yellow passes past the 8-ball, he's had a bit of a result, but I didn't think it did. So now he's got to play a really good screw shot here. He's got to judge the weight of this. Make sure he doesn't lose it. He's having another look at this. On the overhead, that looks really tight. I think he's just okay.
Yeah, he must be very confident with it. I mean, it goes easy because it really wasn't going to be difficult to play for that into the right centre, and he obviously played down for it. So
he has gone wrong here, though. I think. Oh, actually, he's got the one. He's got the lower one of the 2, but it's not the one he intended. Try and dig this, maybe even clip the 8. It's okay.
yeah, just played it with side, allowed the natural to work. hasn't. He hasn't.
Oh,
saved
you're
himself.
kidding me.
He looks like body language is good, so maybe he is on it. Oh, he can cushion first, as he
Yeah.
should still make it, but it's a poor shot. If there was any risk of not getting low enough, just pull back and take it from high. You still wouldn't have been too much of an issue to drop it in and hold on the 8. Should get this, but just has to be careful. He's obviously not that confident because he's looking to see whether the red in the middle of the table passes the red top right corner. That's why, and that is why he was looking. He's come so far up, it doesn't matter if it does or it doesn't.
Do you know what? On the shot before, when I was kind of looking around and obviously mentioned the yellow at the bottom part that I thought he wanted to try and land on the high one, in my head I was thinking, the reason I've said that is because I don't trust them to get perfect position on the next shot. Once he crossed that hurdle, I thought he's fine here. He's out.
Was one more turn up the table would have been fine, but he just didn't get the reaction on the cue ball he wanted. And
Is John straight here?
oh, he might as well be. It's the left-hand side of this 8 ball.
Or he can just pump it enough. It's a good shot in hindsight. Well, by hook or by crook, John Rowe's somehow 2 ahead again.
And he's just done it a little bit too much.
White ball's close. And still red diving header.
Probably the worst break he's hit and one of the better outcomes.
Yeah, you could see it on his face there. He's almost a bit surprised that he's landed on a nice layout.
I feel like yellows are the better layout here, but I think he's going to take reds because the only yellow he's got is the one to top right, and he's not in the frame of mind to take that one. Reds aren't bad, it's just where are you going off to this first shot?
Well, you've got to get past first shot first.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason why he missed it, was he was trying to create an angle that wasn't quite there. I mean, the reds were a good layout. It wasn't as though yellows are miles in front and reds weren't. It's just I didn't like that first positional shot he had to play.
I mean, now that you're in this position, are you still going reds, or is there a bit of an editorial change?
I still like yellows. I do. I like the connections better on yellows than I do on reds, and I did at the start. I don't like the 2 reds at the bottom of the table now. I don't like the way they connect. And the one on the right-hand side, you can connect to it with the one right centre. So it's the 2 at the end that I wouldn't have liked. But very much a judgment call, I think, whatever pattern you see.
15 seconds shot.
Mike
No.
just overscrewed that. He wanted to probably be slightly the other side of straight on this yellow so that he could play through the one into the top right. Oh, that's a clever shot. I like that. Just use the red to lever it and open it up from the cushion. That's good thinking. It is good to see that Mike's still thinking clearly out there, obviously, as tough as it's been.
Yeah, and he's going to have to do it quickly and clearly. Obviously, you can hear the beeps going a little bit more often. We are in the final 10 minutes. It's 15 seconds a shot.
Oh, Mike. Didn't cue it, jabbed at it.
Just pushing the red up the cushion, though, makes that an extra bit of work for John. He's going to go straight after it. Oh, nowhere near. Nowhere near. He's got away with it.
Yeah, it's just like the one position on the table that Mike can't really get to a pot. Is he going to try and trim this yellow thin? Oh, he could. He's on the one at the bottom. So got into that a little bit too much. He's okay. He can just use the left-hand side cushion just above the middle, just to come on and off. I mean, got to back your cue in a little bit more than that. That's so negative just to kind of drop it in almost. Leaving yourself near the cushion is poor.
Yeah, because the problem is, it's 8 ball now.
I mean, this is horrible. You've got an in off.
I think
If you
he's
take
playing
it
the
to
double.
middle. He's got it. Oh, he's not got it.
That's what, the second time in this session that he's done that now. Not managed to get the final positional shot right when it looked quite simple.
Yeah, it's criminal, really, isn't it? If Mike looks back on this, he'll be absolutely kicking himself, because, I mean, I know that the ability of Mike is a lot higher than this. John just opts to play safe there.
Killing a few seconds at the same time. 7 minutes is a long time to make the run for the line on the clock, but if he wins this frame in the next 2-3 minutes, he's all but over the line. No golden breaks, remember.
That's an effort. I like it.
When it hit that first cushion, the second cushion, Mike thought he had it. You could tell by his reaction. I think John will play safe again.
Yeah,
I don't blame him this time. Bottom cushion and just get the snooker. Because of the 8 ball going up on the cushion and by that red, it's just no, I mean, middle of the match, you probably take it on.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's just been that kind of match, hasn't it? John just doesn't need to go for it anymore, because it's the way that the match is laid out. To be honest with you, even if he got out of this frame with 5 minutes left, I wouldn't back another frame to be played.
It's been that sort of match, isn't it? Yeah, we're approaching 100 minutes of action for
and
14
frames.
frames.
14 frames. What's that, averaging one, maybe 7-8 minutes, something like that? To put it into context, I mean, the end of the, well, I mean, the Mellon game earlier on was probably 1 every 3 minutes, something like that. So
yeah, and yeah, they went over, didn't they? In the first, the frame went past the 50, so we are really right on that 100-minute mark. I know there's 540 left here, but we're probably at about 97, 98 minutes now. It's, yeah, for 15 frames a ball it will be if John clears up here.
I think this is going to be the end of the road for Mike, isn't it? 9-6. You can't see a way back with 5 minutes remaining.
Not the way the match has gone. Not without golden breaks in play. Yes, you can make 3 finishes in this time, but I mean, we've had 100 minutes of action and we've seen 1 each off the break. Maybe, did Mike have 2 at the start?
John, Mike Chappell to break.
Yeah, 36 minutes, 18 frames a ball. It was 36 minutes and change. It was just over the 2 minutes a frame.
Yeah, Mike goes dry, so.
And he mishit that completely.
Do you know what? I don't want to sound too harsh, but it almost feels a little bit criminal that one of them's going to get to 10, or potentially could get to 10. It genuinely does.
If you're saying that, I'm going to let you do the interview with John in a minute and you can ask him. Because it is going to be John Rowe that gets over the line in this match, barring something quite ridiculous.
Yeah, I hope John knows that I mean it all in good stead. But yeah, if he is coming in for the interview, I might try and duck out the other door. It's a little bit out here. I mean, to be fair, he could just pot the one. I mean, if you can see the one to the bottom right, the one furthest away, then obviously play that one. But if you can see this one to the top, just cut it in, use the yellow as a buffer, and then, okay, you've got a bit of a longer red, but back yourself to pot it, and then needs that to move out of the way. Oh, that's even better. That's good knowledge. Leave yourself the big pocket. See, this has been perfect position, clinical, great cueing, good pace. Where's that been for the last hour and a half?
Well, he's relaxed, isn't he? He's relaxed because he knows he's won the match, and you can see the weight come off him with the way he was flowing around the table there for the last 12 months. Some second round match, that.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a good opportunity now for Mike just to loosen his arm and just show us what he can do. You know, it's been tough running out there today. He's had his opportunities, not taken them. You know, as we said before, with the kind of Scott and Ryan game, it's the pressure of the cauldron sometimes that makes you do weird things at times. That's a great shot. So it'd just be nice for him to go out on a high, just to give him something to look back at and build on. That's another nice shot. I think he can just slip past. Yellow on the left-hand side. Can. And he's actually in a really good position here. He can play the one into the middle pocket now. Just roll through. Yeah. And then he's going to play this one into the corner, and he's going to just kind of find the gap between the 8 and the red. Oh, Mike.
And he's going to concede. He knows.
It was a brilliant finish to then as well.
Yeah, but he knew the race was up. He knew he couldn't turn it around. He was just trying to have a bit of fun at the end. John Rowe, one way or another, he has got the job done. He has found a way. He clung in the first session. Just about got the job done in the second session. He moves on. Krista Caulfield into the last 64.